Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Paradyme Podcast. We appreciate you for being here. Hope you're having an amazing day. In this podcast, we discuss how each member formulated a friendship, formulated a book club, and then how we moved into a podcast/brand. We discuss why we developed that, why we want to develop a brand or a podcast, and what we want to discuss on it. And then also what our end goal potentially is and what some of our goals potentially can be. But without further ado, I'll keep it sweet, short, and simple. Here's the podcast.
Red is of little use to the man who has betrayed his soul.
Maybe you're the protagonist in your story, but like there's a million other people.
Welcome everybody. This is Paradyme Podcast. We are on our classic shoot the shit episode. And today we're going to be talking about how we all met each other.
The background origin story for y'all.
The background origin story of the four founders of Paradyme.
In the beginning, there was the cube.
There was Devin.
All right, so I really want to know how you two met.
Okay.
Because this is like the furthest, longest relationship in this group.
Oh, true.
So I would love to hear that story.
Do you wanna go, Dev? You want me to go?
Yeah, I can say my perspective. I guess.
I'll go. It's all right.
So when I moved here, I brought my skateboard everywhere I went. That was like the easiest way to make friends, easiest way to like just do shit after school, like skate home. Like
How old were you when you moved here?
15?
Okay.
15, 16?
From where?
Stockton.
Okay.
16?
15.
Damn. That's
Yeah, because I was I moved
years.
here the second semester of my sophomore year to Fresno. I left Stockton. So the second semester of my sophomore year, I was like 15 or 16. And so I was still heavy in skateboarding. And so when I came here, I just stuck with it, passed the time, easy. So when I went to school one day, I don't remember it was towards the end of the year. And I met this guy, Jeremy, not his cousin, but
shout out to
Jeremy's.
Jeremy.
Yeah, sure.
How do you say his last name?
Sosoyev.
Like just a cool ass dude, but he's like very like he wanted to be in the military pretty much. Like he joined the Marines after we got out of high school and stuff. He was in there for 4 years.
Mr. Tough.
Yeah. But he was into skating. Like he was a very like not aggressive, but he just like, you couldn't pick on him. Like there's just no way you could pick on him.
Okay.
So we started linking up, and he came up to me one day at PE. He was like, "Hey, I see you skate. Like, did you just move here, or are you new?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, that's all I do is skate. It's kind of like my hobby. Like, that's all I pretty much do." And so he's like, "Yeah, we're going to. I think like a few days later, a few weeks or whatever, we hang out." And he's like, "Hey, you should come to this park that's like up the street or whatever." I was barely new. I didn't know where anything was at. It was Todd Beamer, and David was there. And he was like, "Yeah, this is my friend David. This is Devin, David." Like, and literally, like, it was just like not thinking. It was just like we're skating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I meet so many people skating. Like, I don't think anything of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then since that point, like that year, even the next few years, like maybe 2 or 3 years after that, like me, him, Mark, just skate all day, all through summer. Like, be outside all day skating. Like, spend the night at each other's houses. Wake up, go skate. We have footage of like montages and like stuff, like stupid videos of us skate. Like, so it was a cool childhood. It was definitely like cool link in how we met through skating. And skating was always going to be like a passion, I guess I would say, for both of us. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty much spot on. You know, I remember Todd Beamer. I remember Devin had a fucking clean ass tray flip. That's how I was like, oh shit. He just doesn't just skate, like he's fucking good. And then I think at that point, because I was really good friends with Jeremy beforehand, my friend Jeremy Sosoyev.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think in high school, everybody kind of like picked their own lane, and he kind of picked a different lane than me. And then like, it was just like that like hardcore like mentality, doesn't fuck with anybody, just very, very closed off. But shout out to him, he's awesome. I hope he's doing good. Yeah, and he moved back to Fresno. But just started kicking it with Devin more.
True.
Fucking hung out. We hung out in the same spot at lunchtime, which is cool.
Yeah.
We met a lot of our homies there too.
yeah. A lot
I
of
don't
people
think we kick it with a lot of people that we used to hang out with in high school.
Yeah,
Though.
not anymore. When we graduated high school, we used to be at this girl's house. We'd always go there every weekend, like get fucking drunk, and that's where like that. There's a lot of stuff that happened there. Like him and his ex got together there. Like there's a lot of stuff that happened at that place. Not like nothing crazy, but like people would puke, like, and it was her dad's house.
Yeah.
And like she had a hot tub in the back. Like it was fun as fuck. It was so fun.
The place where we'd get super drunk.
Like Four Loko drunk. Like,
I was a
drink
Four Loko connoisseur.
and then drink a 40 and then drink another fucking, like, just keep going.
You ever do
fucking
a sidewalk slammer? That's what they're called, right?
What was that?
You pour like you drink half of 40 and then you pour half of Four Loko into the 40 and like you mix it up and it's called a sidewalk slammer.
No. That's exactly what's about to happen.
That shit sounds horrible.
That's what shit we used to do, yo.
Yeah.
What kind of 40 though?
I feel like we do like Miller Lite, something like that.
Oh, this hood ratchet. Right?
You used to get Mickey's, dude.
Yeah, Mickey's.
That's hood ratchet.
Mickey's was.
That Miller High Life.
I would get like
pennies.
It was Miller High Life. That's it's Miller High Life. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I stopped drinking Four Locos after. There's one night, like the fucking wax pen. That shit. I was like, I'm never.
If you ever become legally allowed to drink and you're still drinking Four Locos, you need to go to the doctor.
We got a problem. There's a
that
problem.
shit is spiked, bro.
Dude, before I came out here, we had one of those nights where we're like, fuck it, let's get Four Loko drunk. Yo, y'all bought Four Loko Gold. And I was drinking it. I was like, I can't believe we used to do this.
Yeah,
like,
this
shit's crazy, dude.
The OG ones too, you would like lay down and want to go to sleep, but you couldn't. Oh my god.
Cocaine in it.
That shit was wiring.
Yeah, I think, out of high school, I think we just did skates. I think skating is kind of like where we ventured off to, and then like school and other shit, like stayed partying for a long ass time, but like we always remained close. Like, you know what I mean?
You guys worked together too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like fucking PacSun, and then
we got hired
Mike.
at PacSun together. I forgot about that. Like right after high school, we went to the same interview, and then like we both got picked to work. I got let go on some bullshit. But Devin stayed on for a while.
It was not
I think
fun.
I was telling him I worked at PacSun too back in high school for like 2 days.
Yeah, that shit
It's like, screw you guys, I'm going to Anchor Blue.
Me and this guy, we took so much shit from the back, and like my friends would come in, I'm like 50% off, no problem, 20% off, no problem. They're like, hey, yo, we're gonna let you go.
Yeah, literally, when I used to work there, people used to steal hella shit. Like when you left, people used to steal hella shit.
Really?
No one cared.
It was bad, bro.
A bunch of high schoolers there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much like the origin story for me, David.
Would you say that you guys still share that passion of like skateboarding? So do you guys go out
like
and hit parks and stuff?
Like not here, because Fresno is like the same. Like we don't really get the same. But like when we go to Slow or like LA, it's like skating, like just skating around. Like when we went to San Francisco with our friend Robert, we went to San Francisco one time. We just skated around the city because he knows the city. Like hell no, that shit's gnarly, bro. Yeah, I would never.
Skating's always gonna have like a really big like place in my heart just because of who it's connected me to. Devin's one of them. You know, I've met a lot of great people through skateboarding. The community is amazing. It taught me a lot about life, and it's just fun as fuck, dude. Even when you're getting older, you know, you could always like kind of pick it up and learn some stuff, but it does get a little bit harder.
Not me. My body hurts. I do stuff like that hurt.
Yeah.
That didn't feel good.
Yeah,
you just got to take care of yourself. It's more of a joint thing, I'd say. It's like your joints hurt.
And my joints, my ankles, my knees.
Yeah, your back too. We did a skate challenge here in Fresno with an active ride shop. We were the Super Smash Bros team.
Super Smash Bros.
We were playing Hello Smash Bros at the time, and I think I met you at that time, or maybe right after.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, you've been here for that long?
No, actually no.
I was like that. That was
this dude doesn't know what I'm talking about.
No. I moved. I think after that, I moved into the apartment where I met you. So yeah, we did like a skate challenge in Fresno. And
You showed me skate challenges.
Yeah, it was like 6th place or something.
Yeah, we got like 6th or 7th.
Oh, he was in your team?
Yeah.
It was me, Devin, Sean, and Sonny. Those are the people that we used to work together at
Mountain Mike's.
when we all used to work together at Mountain Mike's Pizza.
Like Jenny and Nadine worked there.
Oh, that's where we met Jenny and Nadine too. Shout out to Jenny and Nadine. If you guys are listening to this, we love you.
Yeah, for real. Y'all dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one question. It's not a question, it's more of a statement. I want you to give me one memory you guys shared that really bonded y'all.
Sheesh.
One of you and one of you.
Damn, I feel like there's a lot.
Just give me one.
There's a lot, dude.
That's you two.
That one time at band camp?
One time.
In 6th grade camp, we would just go to the counselor's office and who was there?
Hey, honestly, like I feel like one. It's I don't know. It's pretty like it's fucked up though. But it was like it was the night with you and Mariah. when like I feel like that night really changed the dynamic of our relationship. Like us being open and being like, bro, like this shit's not for like, and just accepting like your opinion it matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need someone there. Like, but it was just a wild night at Jimbo's, and she was just being really reckless.
Oh, so y'all were 21, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were together for like a long time. So, but anyways, like it was just a wild night, and then me and Dave were talking for like pretty much the whole night, and then we get to leave, and then they're gone, I'm driving home or whatever, and David calls me. He's like, bro, like she's like chasing me on like some wild shit. Like I got out of the car because she started like being violent, like and just being physical, like, and like he just like couldn't take it anymore. He like broke down, and I was like, bro, like everything's gonna be all right. Like I know this is a lot right now, but it's like you need to like separate yourself from like her, like. And I've always been the one like to tell him like if you're not happy, like you need to leave her. And I've never been the person to be like, bro, leave her right now. Like you need to, like I've always wanted him to make his own decision and go through that shit. You know what I mean? Figure it out. But I always saw the negative shit. You know what I mean? So that was a pretty like, you know what I mean?
Question for you, David. Is that too personal and should that be cut?
No. That's a cool story.
You do pick up on stuff like that. Sometimes I don't know if I don't pick up on it because I'm inebriated. But like the camping thing, like you brought up the pop-up thing to me, you know, and I was like, I didn't even think about it like that. But like, you know, I think you're really good at picking up like social
motives or like
social cues or like what's the motive behind that action.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not, we could leave that.
Okay.
It's facts. It happened, you know what I mean? And I think it did like kind of like bond us a little bit more just because.
Some trauma bond.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't say.
I'm just joking. That's what you say all the time.
Just being real as fuck with me, you know, and it really opened my eyes to like, all right, like this is facts now. Because I think you mentioned it all like plenty of times before that, but then when that night hit, it was sort of like the dragon thing that we're talking about, the dragon growing in the room. And you know, if our listeners are listening, there's a metaphor in the Jordan Peterson book that we read about this dragon that's growing in the room, and it at some point it just becomes like a really big problem and shit hits the fan really fast. And that was one of those nights, and it just put a lot of things into realization for me in my relationship, because it was starting to affect my relationship with the people closest to me and Devin, and that was not cool with me. And that was like the pinnacle of like, this is not okay. Something needs to happen. And you know. So
you learned from that experience?
Yeah, 100% a learning experience.
Awesome.
That I would say that's a bond, you know.
Yeah,
that's a big one for you guys.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of funny ones, but like, dude, I feel like I could just name like funny ones after funny one after funny one after.
Yeah. I think a cool bond or like a moment that I'll remember. I don't know. I feel like there's times like where like we would just be skating and we would just get into some dumbass like shit. I don't know, skating. But then like I used to remember like we would just like, I realized Devin was a cool person because like how much we would talk, and then like I would just be like, damn, we've been talking for a minute just about like life, just like regular shit. And I don't think I like got to do that with a lot of people at that time in my life. Like we would just like walk home from skating instead of skating, you know, we just talk about cool shit. And I think that was dope. I think I remember the nights where we would just like skate and then just like go home, watch movies, and just fucking chill.
Yeah.
I think it was
like,
super chill.
Just growing up.
Yeah, getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I miss stuff like that.
Yeah. Those are fun nights, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Now I kind of want to hear. Well, I mean, I could tell my side of the story where how I met you guys.
Send it.
Yeah.
So I met David and Devin. I believe it was at Jenny's party.
Yeah.
I think I met you before that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where I met David.
I didn't meet you with David. Because you guys, when I met you, you knew David already.
Really?
Yeah. It was Tower. It was one night in Tower.
That was the first night I met him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So we met you at the same time? Oh,
yeah.
Holy
that
shit.
Same night. So my cousin Jenny was having a birthday party. I believe it was her 22nd or 23rd birthday party. It's been like a couple years now.
Yeah.
And I just seen like two guys there, and there was a majority like women were there. So I like tried to associate with some of the guys.
Where was her party at?
We started at Tioga.
Fuck, I can't.
And then we
remember
went to like
the one where John used to work.
Hey, ja, ja, ja.
In Tower, that like bar, like we were there.
Nadine was there. Jen
Nadine was there with her ex, and
Yeah.
you were there.
I know I was there. I remember walking Tower. I remember walking like this, like
We were gonna go to Fab that night. And it was like 2 a.m. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And it was me, you, and him, and standing in a line. And these guys come out and say, "Ooh, look at this tall glass of water." I was like, "Yo, yeah, I'm not homophobic, but like, yo, like keep that shit."
Jay was not having it that night.
And he looked straight at me, bro, and he was like, "You know what a nice jacket and a good smile gets you around here?" And I was like,
No way,
I'm flattered, but no, thank you." But then he walked past. That was that night.
Yeah.
That was that night. I remember.
that's crazy.
But yeah, I met you guys at Jenny's party. I believe it's her 22nd birthday or 23rd birthday.
Yeah,
and I had
something like
just
that.
moved back from Washington, and I was in a low point of my life. Super low. And it's crazy because we were just talking about the intricacies of life and like how you guys are working somewhere together, right? And she invites you to a party, and that was years ago, you know? And now years later, here we are doing a podcast, reading books together, and like genuine integral parts of each other's life, I would say, for you guys, at least for me, like that's something I would,
Likewise.
I couldn't imagine this chapter of my life without you guys. So it's like, it's crazy to think about that. It's like that night I would have never thought, it was just extremely wild. And, I'm grateful to God that it happened.
Me too.
Definitely.
Same.
If I could share one memory besides that one, that's a really good one. Do you guys have any memories that bonded? Because same question that applies to, so give me one memory we shared that bonded us.
I think for me, it was when we went to the beach with Nadine and Jenny. Me, you, Nadine and Jenny. Like we took a beach trip.
Santa Barbara.
And I had a pretty cool understanding of who you were. I always thought you were super dope, from just hanging out with you from that night. I think we've kicked it maybe a couple times with Jenny after that, somewhat. And I think the shit we were describing, or the conversation we had in the back of the car, was very, very important, and it needed to happen. And it gave me a lot of perspective on what I was going through and what you had gone through. And that, I kind of like my what would you say? The frame that I had you in sort of like turned into a different one, because I was like, oh, dude, you're really, really smart. And you have a lot of intelligence about, relationships and how it affected you and how you moved forward. And because of that moment, I took that very seriously, and I made a notes. I have it in my phone on my app of David's answers to David. That's the title of it. Because I remember we were talking about answers to yourself.
Yeah.
What does a clean slate look like? What does my partner need to know before dating me? What is my purpose? Stuff like that. There's a lot, and I have it. It's a bit, and sometimes I read it and I look back on it, and it's like it's like looking back in time, because I'm looking at what old David was answering, and it's really cool because I looked at it.
I hate that shit. I delete all that stuff because like I don't want to remind myself. I was like, it's no longer me, and I don't want to see that reflection anymore. Like I'm me now in the present.
If you don't like what you see, of course.
Even then, I don't know.
I liked what I saw because it was still relevant. I think I made some answers for myself that I was like wanting to do better for myself. And when I reread them months and months later, all of them sort of were still in tune with me, and it's not like a lot had changed. I definitely grew, but I was like, this is cool. Like I'm still on my path that I'm doing. I made a bunch of pledges to myself, and I fulfilled them.
Nice.
So I was like, yes, I'm on my right path.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can really, because I think the first time we really hung out was cash flow. Like that first night was like, we house? Still really didn't even know each other. You know what I mean?
Was that your house?
That's when I met you guys.
That's when I met
you. But you guys had played cash flow before because you invited me to like
at your house.
Oh, with your dad, right?
Yeah, I can't really remember a time where I hung out with Jay before cash flow.
Yeah.
Like we might have like, Nah, I don't even think.
And for those listening, Cash Flow is a board game by
Robert Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
the author
Shout out
of
to
Rich
Go.
Dad Poor Dad. Great book. It's a good intro to like if you want to better yourself in the long term for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly recommend to read that. Pick it up.
And
$6.
jumping off of that, how I met you two was when he told me you guys were playing Cash Flow. I was so excited because I had like read Rich Dad Poor Dad and I had wanted to play the game, but the game's expensive. It's like
Yeah, $80.
it's like $80. And I was
Yeah.
like, who am I gonna play with? Like by myself, you know? And you're like, yeah, I don't know, like I'm not really gonna go out, but like my friends are playing this game. It's called Cash Flow. And I was like, dude, say less. Like, I'm there. So it was pretty cool.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good introduction to you guys.
What were you gonna say is your moment or whatever? And then we'll jump into that. 'Cause I
Yeah.
want to talk about that.
I think I'm gonna stick with that story in front of Fab because well, it didn't really bond us, but it's a funny moment that I look back on and I'm like, dude, like that was like the origin story, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're standing there, all three of us in a line, and these gay guys come up to us and they're like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, you know, three handsome dudes, you know, I can't be mad at it. I'm flattered. You know what I mean?
I love that shit.
amazing.
Yeah, I was flattered, and you know, shout out to you guys if you're watching about it. But hey, hope you're living a good life. So yeah, that's the one I would mention just because it was like pure comedy.
You know what I just remembered too? The first time I communicated with you was on Twitch on Jenny's streams.
Yeah.
I would just roast the fuck out of this dude
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
I used to call
I
him
remember
King
that.
because his thing was King something
JCRR.
on Twitch, and I
everywhere.
would just be because I would support Jenny. She would stream
Yeah.
her video games, and I would just like roast the fuck out of her and my friend Sunny. And then this dude was on, and he was talking shit too, and I'm like, "Oh, you old fucking big forehead ass, monkey ass, head ass, just fucking going in on him." And then we would do that consistently. And then the first night I met him was at Jenny's birthday, and I was like, "Oh, you're fucking King, huh? You're the dude fucking roasting me on Jenny's Twitches, dude."
Y'all funny.
And it was hella funny, dude.
Hell yeah.
That was hella funny.
Those were dope. Yeah, she's actually gonna start streaming again soon.
She needs,
So I'm gonna get that.
Needs to.
I used to tell
Jenny,
her all
if
the
you're
time.
listening
Yeah.
to this, you're fucking amazing at streaming.
Yeah, we need you on the stream. We need you. All right. So now I kind of want to pivot from that and hear the origin story between David and John,
Yeah, me too. Because
because this is an interesting one. So buckle up.
Okay.
Yeah, buckle up. This
Well,
one's good.
I had just moved here to Fresno. It was like my first week, and I matched with this girl on Bumble. And I mean,
I hope she listens to this too, because that would be fucking hilarious.
and I mean, I just got a relationship, and I was just full set mode. Like, I'll hang out with anybody. Let's go. And then she was like, we got to know each other a little bit. And like the following week, she was like, yeah, Mike, I think you'd really like my cousin's boyfriend. He likes skateboards. He watches some anime like you. Like, I feel like you guys get along. She's like, they want to go out. Like, you want to send it? I was like, of course I do, you know? So
Yeah.
she brought me over to David's apartment at the time that you had with Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I was just trying to like sell myself to be David's friend. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely was like, that was like the intention because like I don't know anybody. Like, you know how hard it is like to meet guys after school and like you don't work with people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think I was like, yo, we should go skateboarding. And like I had skateboarding forever, but I was like, yeah, we should do it. Like full send. And
Yeah.
I think we just had a good time going out and drinking, you know?
Yeah.
Since I met him, I always thought like you were always up to have a good time, like going
Yeah.
out and drinking. I was like, you know?
Where did we go that night? Did we go to Vixen or
No, we went to
Lux or something or did we go to Tower?
we went to Tower.
No, it was
we
not
didn't.
Tower because I took you to Tower. I was like, yo, I gotta show you Tower, and that was just me and you.
Then where did we go?
I think we went to Lux or
What's Lux?
club. It's a club. By Deli D.
I Deli
shit?
D.
No.
Where did we go?
went
All these
to-
places better start breaking some bread. We're saying a lot of names in here.
Dude,
Where did we
that's
go?
gonna bother me. It was.
We got an Uber and
What did
everything.
it look like on the inside?
We didn't go to Tower for sure.
It wasn't Tower. It was like somewhere kind of nice.
Vixen standard.
I'm trying to think of
That
where
was
we
the
used
second
to-
time.
I was just trying to think of where we used to Uber back then, like if we were gonna go out.
No,
Like
because I remember because the second time we all went out in a group and we went to Standard or the Vixen or whatever it is, and then me and you were like, "Yo, this isn't the vibe. Let's go to Tower." And I already been to Tower with you before, and the girls were kind of mad that we ditched to go to Tower.
yeah. So going off that, so you know, this fool walked in, you know, he was just I immediately got like he was maybe not from Fresno, just because his energy was different.
Right.
You know, very, very high energy, super humble, and just all around positive. And he was like down to hang out. So I was like, yeah, dude, why not? Like, let's fucking kick it, you know, outside of just knowing that you're just kind of like acquaintances with someone else that I know. So it's been fucking cheeks ever since, dude.
For sure.
It was hella cool. And I took him to Tower, I think a couple weekends after that. You know, he texted me and I was like, yeah, bro, let's just go kick it. And it was just me and him. And I invited, Mariah all the time, but she just wouldn't want to go. So I was like, well, fuck it. I want to go out.
I always had the inkling in my head. I was always like, I don't think your girl liked me, dude. Like, I don't always say some shit like
Everybody used to say that about my ex.
I was like,
everybody.
I don't think she likes me.
Her loss.
She did though. She liked you a lot. Yeah,
Cool.
she was cool. But
So
yeah, we used to get into some crazy shit at Tower.
yeah, I want to hear one memory you guys shared that bonded y'all.
I know, like, an early memory. Oh, well, I know, like, an earlier memory is, I think it was the night where we left the girls at Standard. We went to Tower and we walked past that place, like, that had skateboards on the wall, and we just started dancing, like.
Oh, that was funny, dude.
And like the thing, and I was like, we can just send them wherever, dude. Like, you know, they had music, we could go wherever. I had a good time.
Yeah, that shit was hella funny. Yeah. I think a good memory for me was when I was with John at Tower. I think it was like the first or second night. You know, I was kind of telling him what I was going through, and he picked up on a lot of things that I was going through with my ex at the time. And he just like, I was explaining to him what was happening, and he explained what he had went through with his past relationship. And then he kind of just looked at me and he was like, it sounds like you already kind of know what you want to do, or you kind of know that this isn't working for you. And then I was like, fuck, man. I think I was asking, you know, like I had Devin's input, other friends' input, and then even to hear like your input that I hadn't really known you for a long time, but you were just like, you just gave me like clean, unbiased, I guess, opinion of like how I was going through.
I think I remember I told you, I was like, it doesn't seem like you're happy.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, are you happy? Seems like you know what you got to do. Something like that.
So I was just like, all right.
Or what you want to do.
Never gonna forget that, because I think it's like, it kind of speaks to just who you are when you listen to people, John. I think you're great at giving like clean, unbiased, just solutions, or not even solutions, but I'd say you kind of let me know get me to the answer that I have inside of me. So I think that was pretty cool.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So now the culmination of it all. How did we come together? Not how we started this, but how did we as a collective come together?
One thing I wanted to say before we start that, because it kind of leads into this, is that I truly believe God made me meet David first. Mm-hmm. I think he's really good. Like, if you think about it, all the common denominators is us meeting David, you know? Right. And I think, like, who would have thought that the first girl I matched with on Bumble, it was the first person who, like, wanted to actually link up with me. It was like, it's crazy, you know? And, like, it was my first week, and then, like, she was like, immediately like, you should meet this guy. And then from there, like, it wasn't, like, overnight or nothing, but, like, through that, I have met, like, your other groups of friends that you guys hang out with. I've met you guys, and from there, like, we've, like, built this. We've built who's hanging out at the house right now. You know, you introduced me to Jeremy. We go camping now. Yeah. Like, we go to Goldstein's. I met all those people. It's because, like, literally, God was like, you can't meet David alone because there's no Bumble for straight dudes to hang out. But I'm gonna hook you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I would say though, one thing I would applaud you on is like your ability to network is way beyond mine, and it's like watching you do it and like establishing and keeping those relationships is really admirable.
I think we talked about it before. You're really good at keeping relationships, and since that, I have been more vocal on like Instagram and stuff to like reply to people's stories, like acknowledging them, because I was like, that's literally what David does, and he's on good terms with everybody. We go to Tower, and this fool would know everybody, right? And I was like, this is a good guy to meet. I was like very like awesome, you know?
Right.
So I think I saw that, and I used to not be vocal on Instagram. I feel like my paradigm from before I came out here was like, that's not cool, you know?
Yeah.
But I realized, I think coming out here has like humbled me to the fact where it's like, we should also like try to like acknowledge and support each other. You know, what's the point of it? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember we were texting. I remember this was the second or third time we had played. We were gonna play Cash Flow, and Devin's like, "Yeah, we'll just do it at my house." And then David's like, "Hey, do you mind if I bring my friend?" And at first I was like, you know what I mean? I don't really know.
Yeah.
And then John walks in with like his fit, bro. He got the fur jacket on, the all white, and then the light ripped jeans with the white Vans. I was like, damn, bro, what is this guy trying to do? Cash Flow?
Yeah.
It's hot as shit in this garage.
I remember I was on my way to go play with you guys, and John had called me, and I was like, yeah, I want to go out. I was like, I want to kick it. Kind of already made prior plans to play this. Like, I didn't even want to say what it was. I was like, we're doing something. He's like, well, what are you guys doing? I'm like, well, we're playing this board game called Cash Flow. And he's like, oh, by Robert Kawasaki. He's like, dude, I want to play that game. Just like super hyped up. I was like, well, come through, dude. Like, I'll send you the address. And he came through, and then we played.
Dude, I remember because I have this like rule where I can't show up anywhere without bringing drinks.
Exactly.
And I didn't know like what the vibe was because I was like, people who play Cash Flow maybe aren't like full senders, you know, like that. So I was like, I'll bring a casual 6-pack. Yeah. But it was funny.
Something light.
Something light, yeah.
Who would have known that would have been a precursor? Because man walked literally up with a 6-pack of Michelob, and to this day, there's a pack of fucking Michelobs. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember that, and you know, it's crazy the catalyst that brings people together. You know, it's an $80 board game. You know, it could have been freaking Monopoly, but it's crazy how little things such as like swiping right can bring you to somebody, and then playing a board game can bring you to a group of people. Yeah. That can formulate this big thing. Yeah. And who won Cash Flow that night?
I think we stopped.
No, I thought David
was
won.
Me.
Yeah.
Because I was a fucking...
And I was mad because I was playing the long term, and I was like, I'm in second place. I was like, if you got lucky and like sold stocks or something.
Yeah, I got hella lucky.
Yeah, the stocks is the way to blow up in that game. Straight up.
Did me, you, and Devin go camping at a Pirates Cove like after that or prior?
I believe it was prior.
Because we played that game in the tent prior.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So it was prior.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
At Pismo.
Because we kind of had that vibe going too.
Yeah, we started. Yeah. That was when the ball really started rolling. Yeah. It was like literally a couple weeks before you.
I know everything happened so fucking fast. That's what it's like. It feels like we've been doing this for a long time now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it all kind of like, I guess a lot of these things too could come from the fact that like I did sort of get out of what I was in before, you know? Yeah. Because I wouldn't have anything to have talked about really with Jay at the beach trip. Didn't really have that, like, probably wouldn't have invited you to Cash Flow, you know, because I think at that time I was single, right? I think. I don't know. You were. Just a lot of things came out of that because I was like, man, fuck this, I'm not happy. And, you know, it was a blessing in disguise. It's crazy. Even though it sucked, but, you know, it happened. And
I think John had it right, man. Like, I think God had a plan, and like it culminated to this.
Right.
And it's still growing. So we'll see where it goes. And it's crazy because when you do look back, it's like a series of events occurred. Yeah. John came in and it was like an ignition happened. We like, okay, let's read this book. All right, well, like boom, 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 boom. And like straight up, like things started just rolling.
Yeah, that's a very interesting how that started. How we got into book.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, because you were talking about how you guys were already kind of reading a book, weren't you? You guys were reading. No,
I was.
No, but remember, because Dave, when we first started our first book club meeting, remember David was like
4-hour work week.
Yeah, because remember, David said, "Oh, I'm not finished reading, but we could talk about the 4-hour work week." And I was like, "We're having a book club about 7 habits, not the 4-hour." I remember this guy. I was like a little bit like
that's what I want to read next anyway. I was like, "Hey, I want to read a book."
Yeah, you talked about it, and you guys were kind of already doing something. And I remember being like, you had mentioned it, and I was like, "Yeah, I would totally be down to do that." But I was like, "Man, they're probably not going to ask me to read the book with them." But I was happy you did. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm glad I did too. Like having the culmination of all of us breaking down that book. Well, I mean, to this day, I'm still citing it. You know what I mean?
That book is amazing.
Hell yeah. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Highly recommend that book as well.
Yep.
So I want one memory we shared that bonded us as a group, all four. That's special to you.
Let me think.
I think the Cash Flow one for me is just like a good.
It's very nostalgic in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like we didn't really know our dynamic altogether. Yeah. Kind of felt weird, but it was just like kind of funny at the same time.
Even when like Devin goes back and he's like he had when we were playing the we're not really strangers game. When you were telling me your first impression of me, it's very different than like I think most people perceive me, and it's because it was during the COVID time when all this was happening, and I really fucking didn't know anybody, and COVID really bit into my social life because not only were people not doing things, I didn't know anybody.
That was a nail in the coffin.
It was like nail in the coffin, and like you started hanging out less because prior to that, you and Mariah were like, it was like about to be like the pinnacle of like you're gonna break up, so you were all like tied into that shit, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, what am I gonna fucking do? You know? So I came in there, I was like, I need to make a good impression. I know, and you would invite me to parties sometimes, and I would just be like, it's like when you keep your dog locked up in a cage for too long and go let him out. That's how I would feel. And I'm like, gosh, dude, those people probably think I'm fucking crazy. So I wanted to make like a good first impression, like not be like too crazy.
Yeah, I would say you're very reserved when I first met you, because I think you were like a little shy, and like what we talked about last night in the car, you were almost questioning yourself because of where you were at that.
Not when I first met you. I thought I'd be myself when I first met you.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I brought up to him in the car last night is that having this group has brought like a lot of confidence or security in myself, where before, because I had come out here and I left everything, and then the COVID thing happened and I wasn't able to talk to people. And when I would, I felt like really the people that we were hanging out with David didn't like me. And I started questioning, I was like, am I like fucking like weird, dude? Like, am I fucking too much? Am I like too crazy? And like, it would just like, I don't know, you know, but having you guys, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. You know, like I can make friends. It was just a weird time in my life, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a weird time for everybody.
Agreed.
Especially like if you don't know anybody, fuck, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Fucking not knowing.
Like I live by myself. There's like no family. Like I didn't have a dog yet, you know? So I was
Big
like,
props to you. Yeah.
John scrolling Craigslist meetups. Anybody just touch me.
I told you guys, I would just run because I had nothing to do. And I would like make friends for the day at the park.
Yeah.
And then I would just run.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got some cool memories. I remember one time we went to Vixen with Mariah and Skylar, and we were just like going because they kind of wanted to go, but we kind of wanted to go out. And then immediately we were like, nah, fuck this. This is like weird. And so we're like, let's just go somewhere else. And so we walked to Jeremy's house, and that's the first time I introduced you to Jeremy.
Oh, that was actually a sick night. Yeah, I had a really fun.
That was such a good night for John to meet everybody, because he walked in and I was like, yeah, dude, my cousin's sick. You're going to love him. Like, he's all into all these things and whatever. And we lived in the same apartment complex. Yeah. And so we opened the door, and Jeremy opened the door, and he had like Crocs on. He had a ski mask on and like a backpack on. And he had like a beer in his hand, and he was just like, dude, what's up, man? Like, and everybody was like gigging inside of the room. It was kind of like the Dewey Squad, Taylor Squad.
It was.
So it was pretty fucking funny. And we had a good night. It was super fun.
I had so much fun that night, actually. I was like, this was a lot of fun.
John ended up staying there. I was like, yo, I'm going to go home because I'm fucked up and I kind of want to go to bed.
Right.
That actually got bad. David was like, yo, I'm gonna leave. And I was having so much fun. I was like, I'll stay. I want to keep hanging out. And then like I started looking around. It was like 2:30, getting close to 3. And I was so fucked up. I was like, I don't know how to get home.
Yeah.
I would say too, one of the things that I remember that really bonded John and I would be at that Catchphobe meeting where we're just playing the board game that first time we met him. John was like, yeah, I like to play basketball. I mean, I'm not like the best, but I'll play. And I was like, oh, so you hoop? He's like, yeah, I hoop. I was like, say less, we're going. So then we would start playing on the weekend. He would drive out to Sanger. That doesn't happen anymore. But then I would drive out here. We would hoop every single weekend. And that kind of developed that friendship.
For sure.
And like hooping and having that discussion after we would hoop dead tired. And that just really bonded us. And I felt like that brought us really close. And it kind of established this as well, too.
I for sure. I was always looking for people to play basketball with. That was like always like my first thing to ask people. I even asked David, you play hoop? You know?
Yeah.
I remember Mariah and Skylar were like, what's that mean? He's like, is that like a Virginia thing?
Virginia?
They said that?
Yeah, I was like,
that's a very regular thing to say.
It's basketball.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. I remember being surprised one time because I was hanging out with John, and I think it was after we did the cash flow thing. I was like, so what'd you do? And he's like, over the weekend or whatever. And you're like, yeah, me and Jay have been playing basketball. And I was like, oh shit, like that's sick. You guys are actually like hanging out and playing basketball. Cause I didn't think you guys hung out after that time, because you know, Jay lives really far. You live over here.
Yeah.
It's the furthest distance. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was listening to this thing about how like guys bond over activities, where like girls bond over like communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say for at least for us, I think for all of us being in the same, like, would be like the very first few book clubs, even when you were late, like that was like a strong bond for like all of us.
Yeah.
Like, let's not be late.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Accountability.
Because it was a message to like, why are we even doing this? And if we're just going to fuck around and like be late,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, and then the openness, how open we were to reading a book with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I don't have friends that do that shit.
Totally.
You know what
I
I mean?
definitely
Like,
don't. This is a first.
so that's what I was like, dude, like we started it and we're still doing it. Like,
Yeah.
and then look where we're sitting right. Like,
Right.
so it's like,
Podcast now.
And I thought that was so cool. Like everyone was open to being like, yo, you're right. You know, this, we should have discipline. Like this is serious, you know?
especially if we're trying to develop as men and understanding like a man's purpose on providing and becoming a man. Like that was the reason why we started reading books and started applying things to our life.
The
Like,
first book was called 7 Habits, and like we should start having good habits starting now.
Right.
We were all aiming for something better at the time that we happened to meet each other.
yeah, and we still are.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say that that's one thing that John's taught me is like, first, punctuality, right? And that's still something I struggle with to this day sometimes. But that first meeting, I showed up late. I think I was like 15 minutes late or something like that. And at the ending of the meeting, we have the pre-meeting questions, we have the post-meeting questions. But one of our post-meeting questions used to be, how can we improve these meetings going forward? And John was like, I'm going to be straight up with you, and put his hand on my shoulder. And he's like, don't fucking be late. Like, if you're going to be here, make sure you're on time. Like, we all have our time's valuable. Don't waste it. And I was like, you know, you're 100% right. And I think at that point is when I understood that this group is going to be more than just let's kick it and read books. It's more like, let's develop as men and hold each other accountable while reading books, because this is just the catalyst to bring us together. And at that point is when it really clicked. I was like, all right, then this is what I'm doing and this is what we're doing. Then we're going full force, you know?
Yeah, dude.
And I'm super grateful for that. You know, like there's to this day, I'm like, now I need to leave. Okay, if I need to be there, it takes 30 minutes to get there. I need to leave in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Super helpful.
You know? But they like literally, and even to get outside of myself, like going to bars and stuff or clubs, I used to just be the wallflower, you know, just kind of sit in the cut and just kind of do my own thing, drink and watch people have fun. And then John came along and was like, full send, bro, for Jesus. Full send for Jesus and the boys. And I was like, all right, we're fucking doing it. And then we went to Tower and just freaking had a lot of fun. And we went to Vixen one night, and that night literally I did not sit down.
Yeah, that was really
I did not
fun.
sit down. They played Too Short and Lil Jon and goddamn Ham. And that boy, dude, we were dancing the whole time.
That's what I do is like, he's like, I clocked that snapback a mile away.
Yeah, exactly. And most people were there, and it was just a really good time. And so learning how to kind of get outside of myself, learning how to be punctual, those are all things I've kind of learned during this experience. And if you want the rest of it.
I think it doesn't go unnoticed how much change that you've actually done yourself through the podcast. I think for me, you've changed probably the most as far as like just grinding. You know, I mean, I know we've all collectively changed a lot and aimed higher, but I think your progress too is just like, I can see, because you do live far away, dude. So being on time is more of a challenge. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
You got more shit. You're going to school and you're taking hard ass classes.
Facts.
And just like seeing you physically, how you look compared to how you started is like just crazy, dude.
Big facts.
The gym, you killed it. You know, you look slimmer in your face. You look just like overall like just cooler, dude. Like better. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's very sick because it means you took everything that we're doing very serious.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, we would meet weekly, and in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the last chapter talks about the 4 dimensions of everybody's life.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're all discussing, and I'm like, what am I doing physically? I don't really think I'm doing anything, you know? And you guys are like, yeah, I go to the gym. Yeah, I go to the gym. I'm like, bro, I'm a fat ass. Like, I don't do nothing but eat Cheetos and ice cream, you know what I mean? And, you know, I used to witness David, and he was a vegetarian diet at one point, and my mom has lupus, and so it was like inflammation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And, so she did the vegan diet to take out the inflammation aspect, which it really did. It brought it down significantly.
Yeah.
And so like when I saw David doing a vegetarian diet, my mom wanted to do a vegan diet. I seen you guys all had your own diets going on. I was like, all right, I want to try this, you know? And like it started in January of this year. I've been doing it. That's not to say I don't have my cheat days. Like, I mean, who doesn't like a shrimp cocktail, you know? But it's significantly helped. Like just having a group of guys. It's like, you know, if I were to like be like, yeah, I'm going to the gym, and then I show up here and I'm like, how many times you go to the gym this week? Oh, I didn't go. It's like, well, then why are you here?
What,
you know?
What did you start at weight wise, and what are you at now?
So I started this at 208.
Okay.
And now I'm at 180.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah. So 28 pounds.
Hell yeah.
The lowest I got was 178, but like I said, I'm hovering. I think I hit that.
Well, like I said, you're building muscle too, you know?
Yeah.
I was just bragging to David. I was like, bro, Jay's been looking so much better. Like, you're at the water hole today, and like, your face looks really slim. Like, you look like slim like this too, you know? Like, I can like tell the difference.
Definitely look like you leveled up.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and I mean, that's the goal, right? I mean, all the young men listening, like, your goal should always be to seek improvement, right? Like, it should never stop being improving. And so the 4 dimensions that the 7 habits of highly effective people were what? Mental, physical, social, emotional, spiritual, right? So always seek improvement in those areas of your life, whether that's through counsel with fellow men of your age.
And
oh, go ahead.
I think the metaphor he uses in that is if it's a car and there's 4 wheels, if you put all your air into one tire, the car still can't drive right. So you kind of need to balance that and disperse air evenly between all 4 tires, or at least as close as you can get, because that way, that's the best way to make the car move.
Yeah. And I would say to anybody listening, it's not to say that we have found, you know, the answer to everything as far as, you know, the terms we're using, like leveling up or being better, looking fitter, or all those things. I think we just found one way that really got us to where, not necessarily where we want to be, but the trajectory of where our life wants to be.
That's better.
Because we, for one, found men who hold each other accountable. We're serious about aiming where we want to aim.
Right.
And reading books is just another very helpful tool. It even talks about it in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? Like just reading in general.
Yeah.
You know,
Quadrant 2.
Practicing your mental ability. And we're learning a lot. This is only the 3rd book, and this is what came about after just continuously working on it. There's a lot of times where we met before these episodes were even aired.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we had 2 books read before. Before we even started anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys like the video enough, maybe we'll drop those old school footage.
And on that, you know, we're not shit. You know, like like you said, we're on the trajectory to try to be something. But you know, like you said, we don't have any answers to anything yet. We're just
Yeah, I think because I always see it like this. I not to be degrading our physical appearance or anything like mental or whatever. I see our lives as lab rats, and this just is showing you like. We're not some 18-year-old millionaire that fucking trying to post content to kind of gain more money, revenue. We're trying to really become, and this may be the average person, like how we're doing this. We don't have like successful careers. We're looking to have successful careers. We're looking to level up physically.
We're trying to climb up the ladder.
You know what I mean? And we're 20, 25, 24, 26. Like, it's like, don't beat yourself up because you're 22 and you fucking still live at your mom's house, or you're 23 and you can't do like all these fucking people that got millions of followers. It's like they started somewhere. They just started a lot sooner than you. Like, if you start now, what if you're 27 and you're where you want to be? So
that's our mission statement. Now equals tomorrow.
Correct. Now equals tomorrow. What are you doing now to better yourself for tomorrow?
Right.
Bars.
And that's what I think about, like, you know, stocks and stuff too. You know, Devin and I, we both try to make money ourselves by trading and stuff like that. And, you know, if we had the key, we'd be millionaires, but we're not. You know,
exactly.
But like
We've made a lot
an
of
extra
mistakes.
$100 a day over 365 days, you know, I mean, it's still something, you know. And like people who make more money than us, they've just been doing it longer than us. You know, so you got to start somewhere.
Exactly. So if our podcast, our videos, our YouTube, our brand continues to grow, that our trading will continue to grow, and then we could possibly implement that into our brand, into like our strategies that we use through stocks, through Forex. Like, and we can show you guys like, hey, like we have our podcast, we have our brand, but hey, like if you guys want to become financially free, like it wasn't hard. We fucking made mistakes. We lost money, but look, like we're doing it now.
And on that note, since I used to listen to audiobooks, but since we started reading, I realized it makes such a difference. Physically reading it's like you have to actually give it time.
Yeah.
It's like you're respecting that thing's time to learn. And like it's made a big difference to me. Because I would listen to audiobooks like
crush them.
Yeah, crush them. I mean, I was not getting the same value out of it.
Yeah, you did. My problem is I don't retain a lot of stuff that I just listen to because I'm looking at a bunch of shit.
Totally.
So I'm not even thinking about what I am thinking about it, but it's like I'm not
just coming in.
You're getting like I would say when we read, maybe we get 50% of like the information
and
stored.
you still have to kind of like
we have to talk about it.
So and I hear all these people like that speed up their audiobooks and turn it on like 3 times. I'm like,
that's crazy.
How can you retain anything?
You listen to a podcast at 1.5, I think it's too fast.
Yeah, and it's like I don't like I hear what they're saying, but I don't conceptualize anything.
Totally.
I want to say too something that really helped. It was like an extra I guess perk of doing what we sort of did for us, or at least for me. Maybe you guys can talk about it too. Is that I found a lot of things that helped me, like tools to tackle shit that was bothering me before we started recording and reading, which was like dealing with anxiety and depression, because that's all shit we kind of deal with at some point in life.
Sure.
Just relationship stuff, relationships with my parents and my little brother. A lot of things. It took work. It took a lot of work to get to this point. But those are like extra benefits that came out of what we were doing just because we set our aim higher and we were around men who wanted that. And it's going to be very interesting, when people, and this is jumping on our conversation last night in the car.
Okay.
The people who knew, the old David.
Right.
And then they hear the things that I'm doing now, or they see that sort of change. It's almost, what did we say last night?
I think what I said was that people see you now and the paradigm they have of you in their head does not match up what they're seeing present.
Right.
And they don't know how to act.
They're sort of confused as to like, oh shit, like it's like
they don't know how to
different.
They don't know how to communicate with you. I gotta go piss.
Yeah. And in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about in one of the last chapters where when you try to make a change, you have to expect restraining forces, right? So it was that diagram where there was the line, which is where you're currently operating your current paradigm, and you have changing forces coming from the bottom to lift you up, and then there's other people that are providing those restraining forces to try and keep you down, right? And so like I can even think about it in my own family where it was like we started the vegan diet, and my dad, like he had his things where he's like, well, why are you doing that? Like why this, why that? Like trying to restrain because he wants to keep things norm, right?
Right.
And so you have to, if you want to make a change in your life, expect that people are going to try and demand you don't. So expect restraining forces.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing. It's an uncertain thing. People have set up their lives for security. We don't want to tap out of that. So if someone's challenging that, they're not gonna just allow you to. So that's why anytime when I listen to successful people, if it's millionaires, if it's people that want to change their life and have changed their life for the better, what I hear all the time is sacrifice. If it's friends, if it's family, you have to lose things to gain better things, or to gain worse things. But you have to let go of the old shit that you don't want. Like
there's a show.
What rule was that? I think it was like rule 3. It's in Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. Make sure you read that.
Just read the damn book.
There's a show I feel like you'd like it. It's called Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
And the whole intro is like alchemy, and it's like, man, you're gonna fucking cut that out because I don't know what I'm saying now. It's like, fuck.
All right, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But you had brought up something before we had started recording, and it's a question on that board that says, we all have superpowers. Which powers do we identify in each other? And so if we're talking about David, you just kind of sit there and we'll talk about a superpower we think you have. Same goes for Devin. You would just sit there. We discuss a superpower we think you have. Okay. So why don't we start with David? What is a superpower we think David has?
Patience.
Dude, yeah, I think you're very patient.
Patience. In what way?
In every single way. Like just growing up with him, like I've noticed, like, and not even myself, because like I'm not as patient as him, but as far as like just witnessing other people, random people, friends, family, like anybody, the way David handles things, he's okay with like just sitting back and waiting till the shit rolls out and letting it play out. And then making the move he needs to make, and rather than being like, no, it needs to fucking change right now, and fuck, like, no, you shut up, I'm doing it. Like, I've never seen David act that way. But other people, it's like when there's a line, when there's a weight, when there's
I literally own a lot of weight.
like, it's like everything's gonna be like, I can sit here another 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I've decided to be here. Like, I'm gonna wait. Like,
Okay.
so it's like I think the patience thing in all aspects is like
You being
fucking
patient
huge.
with people and stuff like that, for sure.
You would say the same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say making connections, but my second was being patient. You're very patient with everything you do. Mm-hmm.
I'm torn, right? Because anybody that knows David knows that he's amazingly creative. I
For
would
sure.
say
That's a given. He's
Yeah,
he's our digital artist.
he's accredited, right? He's got a degree in being a creative superstar.
He slaps.
And so I think a one that kind of maybe people might not identify as much, or they do, it would be the networking, right? I think you're really good at establishing relationships and maintaining them.
Okay.
And so I would say those three: patience, networking, and creativity are your superpowers. And like, I mean, it's hard not to notice them.
Yeah.
You know, they're really dope.
Interesting.
You make really good concepts for people who like. You showed me this one poster he made for this guy's rave, and he ended up not liking it. He wanted it like, honestly, he wanted it less cool than what David made, but it like was so sick, and like he just made that out of his head, you know?
Right. Yeah. Extremely creative.
Yeah.
All right.
Dope.
So how about Devin? What are some superpowers you think Devin has?
I think he's really hungry. When I first met you, I've told you, when I first met you, like I had my first impression of everybody, you know, I thought you were really studious, but I just thought you had like an inner hunger that you wanted more and that you were trying to get more. And I really like that. Not everyone has it. Not everyone's hungry. So I think that's one of like your superpowers.
I would say the drive, like sort of like the same thing John's saying, and being very pragmatic. Is that the right word?
Explain that to me.
Sees it how things are, not how they want them to be. So they see the situation for reality, not for what they want the situation.
I think you're very good at doing that, because when I have something, you always sort of like, not to play devil's advocate, but you drop some shit that I was not considering, and it's very vital for me to consider to do the things that I want to do. Like, it's like you already like studied. You're like, okay, if we're gonna, even for the podcast, like you're like, okay, if we're gonna do this, like we need to buy these, we need this, we need that. You guys gonna do that? Because we got to do that.
I would say that too. I remember when he first started talking to, and like you were talking about discussing like these are the things that are going to happen down the road, and you were like, look, you got to remember their sister. And I was like, that's like 5 steps ahead. You know?
Yeah.
And it's shit I didn't really consider, and I think it's important to have you around, because you do. That's like you're being, I think, a leader in that aspect. I think you're great at being a leader like that. You're just fucking
Definitely.
like, boom, when you do this.
Yeah, I put on here a visionary, because like in all my conversations, even not even just revolving around the podcast stuff, it's like, this is what I see. And sometimes it might be broad scheme, and you might be just throwing things at the whiteboard, but like they get thrown on the whiteboard, and it's a vision that we have to drive towards. And I think that having that visionary on your team is like super dope, because they can kind of just clear up the picture of the future. That's like, to everybody, your future is blurry, but to be like, look, this is kind of what I'm picturing. What do you guys think? I think having that visionary superpower is like,
That's a good one.
super dope.
I always call him, he's the silent wolf.
He has told me that.
He's just chilling, you know what I mean? Like very, very
coffee strong.
I don't know, not like not social, but when you do like kind of have that open door, you let out a lot of information that's like, I can tell you've done a lot of research, and you've really played with those concepts, and you've done a lot of reading. Like I see your bookshelf, I'm like, shit, dude.
Yep.
He's really on it.
Definitely. All right. So how about John? I want to start. So I put full send vibes.
Okay.
Right. There's very few people I've met in my life who, when they're like, I want to do it, they don't think about it. They're just like, it's full send, and I'm doing it, and I'll figure it out on the path, you know? And that, I think that it comes with like team, when you and Devin are very complimentary in that manner, right? Because if Devin's like, hey, this is the vision, you're like, all right, full send, this is how it just, boom, you just jump into it. And that we kind of we go along with that, because that full send energy, it permeates. you know, as we can
It's very
see.
contagious.
And so having the visionary along with the full send vibes, I think it's extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I would say somewhat of the same thing. It's like, even when I like think of something like, because I don't have that like, not even drive, but the ability to be like, I'm gonna fucking launch my plane, and if it falls apart in the air, I need to put it back together while it's fucking falling.
True,
like
true.
that's how like I see the way you tackle everything in life, and I don't have that. Like, it's not a strong suit of mine, but if having someone like you around is like, okay, if he jumps first, I can at least see where I'm gonna follow him. And so I think a lot of people are afraid to admit that, and I'm very aware that I'm not strong in that capacity. And so having you around, it's like, it's almost like you can lead in that way, and it feels very like, I feel stronger. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like I'm able to do anything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I would say that too, is making that jump, and I think you can make the jump too, which is and what I'm going to say is, I would say holding people accountable to their word. I think you're very, very good at that. And you say things and you mean it. And you can sort of transfer that energy that you have within yourself to other people, because they can see the benefits, and you make it fun. I would say you make it like, it is confrontational. It is, you know, rough sometimes, or your delivery is like, it's strong, you know. Some people ain't meant for that type of shit in their life. But there's so many rewards to having someone like that and deliver that to you, because I can take it for myself, and now I apply to some things that you teach me, or just the way you are, without even having to tell me. I just know it'll get shit done, so I use it at work. You know, at some point we got to make a decision. Someone has to jump off the thing and make it fucking happen.
Executive decision.
So I can see it at work. I see a lot of things that we used to sort of throw around. Yeah. And we made a decision at work. And I see that other areas in my life, and I'm like, okay, shit. I know John, if he was here right now, he would be like, guys need to fucking do it. Like, why are you late? Or what the, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. And that goes for everybody too. Like, I can see like how you would handle maybe, you know, something with family, because I deal with family a lot. And I'm like, okay, you know how you said take some time beforehand before you make this decision. Think about it a little bit. You're probably high on emotion right now. Right. Something like that. Or, you know, Devin, his pragmatic view on the reality of me, this grand idea. What is it going to involve? All these things. So definitely, I think it's pretty cool.
I put on here straight to the point, blunt or not. That's one thing that I've gotten.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, he'll come at you if blunt or not. He don't give a damn.
That reminds me of, because you said Devin's visionary, and that clicked in my head. I was like, you're right, and it brings me back to when we were talking about the podcast thing, and I was like, no, and I like, what do we need to do? What do we need to do?
If we could think back to how we started this, I would say you start like, you literally start like, you were like, no, right now we're starting it. There is no talking about it.
Right. We've been talking about it.
Let's start it right now. Because I remember, what did we tried to do? Sell something, or we tried to like
come up with an idea
and sell something, because we had and we didn't follow through with that. And I think one day we were just like, it got brought up like, okay, next time we bring up something, it has to start. Right. Yeah. Like, let's not bring something
and
up.
And you had said that. You said that in your life. I remember.
So I was like, and then John was like, okay, no more fucking talking. Let's fucking do the podcast shit. What do we need? What's the first shit that we need?
Right.
And so we got it done.
Goals. What do we do about this Friday? Which we're coming. I remember that. That's funny.
I think that was what was perfect too, is because we need to have small, achievable, concise goals that can be achieved weekly. That way, when we meet together, we're making slow freaking progress, but it's progress.
And I think it's been good. Like, small goals is like, that's how you go up the ladder. You know?
Small steps.
Yeah.
It's a measurable success.
Yeah.
You can look back on and be like, okay, we did this, you know, maybe I had to put this off, but we got this shit done.
And then like 2 months go by, you can look backwards and be like, oh shit, you know, like,
I mean, look at
you
now.
accomplished 8 goals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got an audio interface. We started freaking editing. We got the mics. We got the table. We got everything set up now. Like, it's rough.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna keep going. You know?
All right, for Jay.
I kind of want to go first.
Send it.
So like, what I definitely noticed in you, Jay, is more of, you're able to dissect things in a very like critiqueful, but not like, it's almost as if you take things as they are, but you make them better, because you can analyze them deeper than someone just looking at it at the surface and being like, that's just a pot, like, that's just that. You'd be like, okay, but like, there's something different about this one and I don't know how to pinpoint it, but it's almost like you can dissect and analyze the situation. If it's camping, if it's Like if I bring an idea to you, you're the first one to be like, okay, give me something to write down. Let's start let's dissect it. Let's write this idea and then do it in steps. What's the next idea? Let's do that one in steps. And so it's not just, okay, we need better microphones and a camera. Okay, but why though? Like, what's the purpose? What is it going to serve? It's almost like how I see stuff, but it's like you further that to a very great extent. Like the detail orientation is like, I love it. I love the analytical, like paving the black and the white and making no gray area. It's very clear and concise. So that's what I love like the most about you.
Concise, yeah,
For sure.
And I think maybe that works well with you guys because Devin's very detail focused, or like in his like reality thinking, right? Like, okay, what do we need? And then you're like, okay, perfect. Like, you know, I can write these down. I can make it happen and ask better questions for that lane. You know, those are beneficial, I'd say. And for me too, I think the same thing, very scholarly. There's a lot of things that come with that. And I would say something like, I like when I think of who you are when you're being like the man you are, you're very smooth in how you deliver your points that you need to make. It's very like therapist, like, you know, when I come to you with my shit too and I'll ask you, you're like,
I feel like you're so gentle.
Yeah.
I feel like you're so gentle. You know, even in our book club, like, here, you can keep talking, but
yeah, well, yeah. He's strategic. I think you're very, very, I think your superpower, Sue, is, you know, just being super fucking strategic about the questions that you think and how you're thinking about who you are when you are in relation to other people on the social emotional scale, and tying everything we're doing back to the book. There's some shit I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's right, because you're keeping track of that in your head and you're writing it down. And you've helped me a lot, you know, with those notes to myself. That shit was crazy, you know. So
I think for the group, you have kept us so accountable on paper. Like, even right now, you're writing everything down.
I know. I was like, it's Fool's writing notes right now.
You
It's
know,
crazy.
and I don't think our group would have been as successful as it is right now. Is from the very start, you made a template and you kept the same template, and we started every meeting before the same, and every meeting after it will always be the same. And like,
and that really set us up for success.
it holds me accountable because like you said, I'm a big fan, but like, I don't do stuff like that, but I need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? It like help like reels me in. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I would say you're almost as if like if we were layers and we were all like we came together and we just stacked on top of each other. You're almost like you know where to put the glue and where to make it stick, and it's gonna stick. It's gonna stay. It's not fucking moving.
So for me,
So it's like our steps are being built. Like we create the levels, the step is built, and then we put the concrete glue or whatever, and then that like it's solidified. Let's go to the next step. Like you fill that shit in.
Nice.
So it's fucking very like.
I think you're really good at asking other people questions. When we talk, you always come in, like David said, like very gentle therapist questions. And like, it probes me to go further with my point, which were, I think I would have stopped. And then you were like, you ask a question and it allows me to further my development because I have to answer that question. You're really good at like probing in the right way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
a good way to put it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Strategic.
I think moving forward, we did the superpowers. It'd be interesting to do a weaknesses one.
Ooh, yeah. We can.
Maybe the next STS, we can do that.
Yeah, let's do the next one so we have something to talk about.
Okay.
Weaknesses? Yeah, that would be.
Topics for next STS.
And I think you can take good criticism. I think we all can take good criticism.
Hell
by the
yeah,
way.
because I think that's what makes you stronger as a person. If
Totally.
you can't take criticism, then you're really not growing. In
Very
the field.
true.
Like, so, but you guys want to wrap it up? You know what I mean?
I think this was good.
I feel like this was
This is
amazing.
fucking
You know what I
fire.
mean?
This was
So
fire.
this is Shoot the Shit number 3, I think, right? That's what we're gonna call it right now. Like even what Jay said, like all of this stuff is rough. We're still figuring a lot of stuff out. If we do continue this, if we are continuing this, you guys will see the process. You guys will see the journey. So that's the best part about this. It doesn't matter about making money. It doesn't like really, when we started this book club, when we read on our own without recording, it was mainly so we could look back. The notes that Jay's taking, like it was just so we can look back at these notes. The questions we ask ourselves is, are we moving in the direction that we need to be moving in to become the people that we are? So this is really just for your guys' benefit, for our benefit, and to really look back at this footage. But other than that, like, we're going to call it. Hope everybody has a great day. You know what I mean? Subscribe, comment, like, you can drop comments that that you can relate with.
Yeah, maybe think about some of the things that we're saying and answer, what's your superpower? What do you think it is right now? Or maybe write down.
And if you guys have any books to suggest, maybe we could read it next.
Drop it in the comments.
Please
so with that up, we're going to wrap it up.
All right.
All right. Signing off. Paradyme Podcast. We love y'all.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to this second podcast here at Paradyme. We all want to thank you. We all appreciate you very, very much. With that being said, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure to go follow us on all social media platforms that we have down below. Stay in contact with us. We want to stay in contact with everybody on here. And also, if you have any ideas, ways to improve our podcast, ways to improve what we say, talk about, or even just to talk about specific topics, go ahead and drop them down in the comment section and we'll definitely read those. But without anything more to say, I hope everybody has a great night, good morning, whenever time you're watching this. And now equals tomorrow.